See everybody coming in. Good morning, everyone. We're going to be starting the webinar right around 10:03. Let's give people an opportunity to fill in. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Um, I want to make sure we do a little housekeeping. When we go through the presentation, we're going to start right around 10:03. I'm asking that you all hold your questions. Don't raise your hand or put anything in the chat because we're going to open it up for questions after the presentation. We're going to allow you to ask questions live, or you can type questions in the Q&A. So please hold your questions until later. Please don't put anything in the chat and try to focus on the presentation. If you run into technical issues or problems where you can't see the slide presentation, or you have an impairment or need support, you can type that into the chat so that we can try to problem solve or help you at that point. But when you have questions about the actual presentation, if you could hold those, note them down so that you can ask them either live, or like I said, you can type questions in the Q&A, but we're asking that you do that after we finish the presentation. Welcome. We'll get started right around 10:03. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're going to get started right around 10:03. We're trying to give people an opportunity to get in. I just wanted to go over some housekeeping things with you. We're going to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions after the presentation. We really want you to focus on the presentation and try to get that information, but you can prepare to ask your questions after the presentation has ended. And that's when we want you to either use the Q&A or raise your hand, and you can come off and speak verbally, or you can put your questions in the Q&A or in the chat. But at this time during the presentation, we ask that you do not use the chat or the Q&A or raise your hand until we've completed the presentation. Okay, we're going to start in about 2 minutes. Good morning to everyone who has just joined. We're going to allow everyone to ask questions after the presentation is over. So please do not put anything in the chat or raise your hand or do Q&A at this time during the presentation. We really want you all to focus on the presentation and the information provided. And then after the presentation is over, we'll give everybody an opportunity to get all of their questions answered. And we're going to get started real soon here. Just trying to give people a few minutes to jump on. Okay, let's get started. It's 10:03. I'm sure people will still continue to join. But who will be starting us off this morning is Miss Lahia Alvarez from the City of Chicago, Department of DPD. So, Lahia.
Thank you, Audrey. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Lige Vares, and I manage the Workforce Solutions Program with the city's Department of Planning and Development, Small Business Advocacy Division. And joining me is my colleague, David Diaz, who works closely with me in this program. Thank you all for being here today and for the outstanding work you all do as small business owners. Your dedication and drive are what make Chicago truly exceptional. We deeply appreciate the time, energy, and investment you put not only into your businesses, but also into strengthening the communities around you. We are especially excited to connect with employers and business owners who are committed to growing their teams and investing in talent. We understand that running a business comes with unique challenges, from staying competitive in a fast moving market to attracting and retaining skilled workers. For small businesses, every dollar and every decision matters. That's why programs like this are so important. They're designed to help you stretch your training budget further by reimbursing up to 100% of eligible training costs for current employees and new hires, with a maximum grant award of up to $250,000. Whether you're growing your team or helping current staff learn new skills, this program makes workforce development more affordable. We are thrilled to finally open the Workforce Solutions programs for applications. This is an enhanced iteration of a legacy program that some of you may be familiar with. Over the past few years, we have made significant programmatic improvements that will allow us to support more businesses across the city. This is truly an exciting time for us. Joining us today is our Program Administrator, Employment and Employer Services, who will be walking us through the presentation. If you've had the pleasure of working with them before, you know firsthand how valuable they are in supporting Chicago's small business community. They will be instrumental in guiding applicants through the application process and ensuring smooth project management. Additionally, please don't hesitate to reach out to DPD and use our office as a resource. We're here to support your business and we're ready to listen and offer support in any way we can. Thank you all again for being here today. I will now turn it over to Anissa Jones, Senior Vice President for E&ES.
Thank you, Lahia. Good morning, everyone. As Lahia mentioned, my name is Anissa Jones. I'm a Senior Vice President of Employment and Human Services here with E&ES. We are very grateful to partner with DPD to provide the Workforce Solutions Program as their program administrator. A little bit about E&ES. We've been around for about 40 years, since 1983, supporting local Chicagoland businesses and communities in the workforce development space. We are very dedicated to making sure that we're supporting the city with developing a skilled workforce. And we're really happy to be working with nonprofits and businesses to achieve that goal through this Workforce Solutions Program. As the program administrator, we'll be working really closely with DPD, but we'll be also overseeing the day-to-day operations of the program. And we're really here as a support to you as a business and as a nonprofit to support you through this process from beginning to end through the full life cycle of the grant. We want to make sure that businesses and organizations succeed. And we're really wanting to make sure that we can strengthen this workforce through this much needed training and upskilling. So again, we're happy to be here as a partner with DPD. We're happy to support you through this process. And we thank DPD for this opportunity. And I'll now turn it back over to Audrey Johnson, who will lead our information session today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited that you're here today. I'm the program director for Workforce Solutions Program. I just want to give you some quick housekeeping. So we're going to go through the presentation. Please do not put things in the chat or the Q&A yet. We're going to give you an opportunity as soon as we get to the end of the presentation. We're going to open it up. You'll be able to ask your questions there. So let's jump into it and get you this information. So we're going to overview what Workforce Solutions is, the eligibility and funding. We're going to go through some examples of the grant calculator. We're going to talk about ineligible businesses, business locations, application process, reimbursement, visits and monitoring, closeout steps, frequently asked questions, next steps, additional resources, and then we'll go into the Q&A. What is Workforce Solutions? Workforce Solutions grants covered qualified training for current employees, upscaling, and new hire on the job training, leadership development, technology skills, and more. Workforce Solutions reimbursement grants are funded through the City of Chicago. This is through tax increment money, and it also proceeds from housing and economic development bond money. I do want to make a note here about our bond money that has been open since earlier this year. We are getting close to exhausting those funds if you are outside of a TIF area. We're anticipating closing the application for bond around August 14th, 2025, but it will be reopening next year in 2026. So you still will be able to apply then, but it is, we're anticipating closing the applications. If you have questions about that, just reach out to us at a later date. Grants may fund up to 100% of eligible expenses for businesses seeking to train your current employees or your new hires. Eligibility requirements. You must be located in, expanding into, or relocating to the city of Chicago. Workforce training for permanent full-time and or permanent part-time staff. Commitment to remain in that community area for at least 3 years. Be financially prepared to support training costs up front. $250,000 is the grant limit within a 3-year waiting period after that limit is reached. Next slide. The eligible industries, and keep in mind, this list is not all inclusive. If you ever have a question about your business, reach out to us. But these are eligible: non-for-profits, food service, tourism, hospitality, healthcare and life sciences, manufacturing and industrial, information technology, real estate, finance, insurance, retail, energy, education and training, transportation, distribution, and logistics. Please call us if you have a question outside of that list. What will Workforce Solutions fund? The Workforce Solutions Program can fund trainings for who? For current employees, for new hire on the job. The only advocate here is that they must be Chicago residents if you're going to hire new hires. Leadership development, instructional wages, training fees for incumbent trainers, training supplies and materials, but that are associated directly with the training being approved. Training rental of equipment, customized training curriculum. Let's take a funding overview. The Workforce Solutions Program is reimbursable grant. It's reimbursable. That funds up to 100% of total eligible project costs, up to a standard maximum of $250,000. So when you are either up to 1.5 million in annual sales, then it's 100% reimbursable. That means all your costs are 100% funded. Maximum for industrial, 40 full-time employees. That's also 100% eligible cost. And all non-for-profits, regardless of their income, are 100% of their eligible costs funded under the program. In the case where you are up to 5 million in annual sales, or you have a maximum of 125 staff, you will be at the 25% contribution. Contribution can be described as a match. A match is based on your business size. Contributions may include expenses not already included in the project, costs such as wages for staff used to assist in the training process, materials and supplies used to support training, or wages that the employer is paying for the employees to go through the training. You can use all of that as a part of your match. And then if you exceed 5 million in annual size, or you have more than 125 full-time staff, you will be at the 50% contribution or 50% match. Grant calculator example. So how do we do this 25% match? Here's an example. Lori submits her application for the Workforce Solutions grant that is in an open TIF area. She's proposing training with a total eligible cost of $100,000 for her incumbent worker training, which is her current staff for training. Over the past 3 years, Lori's hospitality business has grossed over $4 million in annual sales. The breakdown of Lori's eligibility are as follows. So she's applying for $100,000. Her business is over the 1.5, but under the 5 million. So she falls in the 25% contribution or 25% match. So her grant cost is $100,000 that she's applying for. And what we're looking for in match is $25,000. The Workforce Solution Program is a reimbursement grant. So let's keep that at our forefront, that it's reimbursement. In this example, Sam submits his application and he is proposing training with a total cost of $200,000 for his 20 employees that currently work for him. Sam's a manufacturing company and he employs 250 employees in total. The breakdown is, yes, he's asking for $200,000 in training costs for incumbent training. He has over 125 employees, so this pushes him to the 50% business contribution, which is a 50% match. This is not real dollars spent. It's looking at in-kind type things that you have done and you're investing in the training. Your 50% match is an investment back into the training process. Next slide. So here's an example of zero match. And we talked about this earlier, those who fall under the category. So Jessica, she applies for the grant and she's a non-for-profit organization. She serves the homeless at shelters throughout the city of Chicago. She's proposing a training with the total eligible cost of $125,000 for her current workers, her incumbent workers. And she also wants to do on-the-job training for 2 new hires. Over the past 3 years, her non-for-profit has grossed $450,000. Her $450,000 that she's grossed is under the 1.5, but she's also a non-for-profit. So she qualifies for a zero match. So the breakdown is that she's asking for $125,000. She's granted $125,000. There is no additional match where she has to show where she's contributing to training. There are some ineligible businesses and organizations. This list does not include everything, but it does give you an idea of what we do not fund. So we do not fund chain businesses, branch banks, employment agencies, religious worship institutions, currency exchanges, payday loan stores, pawn shops, astrology palm reading stores, K through 12 schools, gas stations, liquor stores, bars, or nightclubs, smoke shops or cigar lounges, adult uses, firearm stores, shooting ranges, massage parlors, hotels or motels, residential storage, warehouse, track waging facilities, trailer storage yards, and junkyards. If you have a question about whether or not your business is on, if it's not on this list and you question it, please call us and we'll let you know. Business location. So, are you not in a TIF district? Apply and E&S will discuss options for other potential funding opportunities. If you're in a TIF district but there's no funding, not currently eligible for the Workforce Solutions, E&ES will notify you if and when funding or future funding may be available. All are welcome to apply and encouraged to apply. Upscaling and training is needed for your employees. You are hiring new employees to enhance the success of your business. If you fall up under one of those, we encourage you to apply. Businesses location. So we do have 35 TIFs that are open right now under the Workforce Solutions Program. And these are the ones that funding is available, but you should still, let us know your address and everything, and then we will make sure that we check to see that you are in one of these areas. So 105th in Vincennes, 119th in Halsted, 119th in I-57, 35th in Halsted, 47th in Ashland, 47th in Halsted, 47th in King Drive, 47th in State, 53rd Street, 71st in Stony Island, 79th Southwest Highway, 79th in Vincennes, 87th in Cottage Grove, Austin Commercial, Avalon Park, South Shore, Bronzeville, Chicago Central Park, Commercial Avenue, Division and Holman, Eston Armstrong, Inglewood Neighborhood, Fullerton, Milwaukee, Greater Southeast, Humble Park Commercial, Kinsey Industrial Corridor, Lawrence and Broadway, Michigan and Cermak, Pulaski Corridor, River West, Roseland, Michigan, Stevenson, Brighton, Washington Park, West Woodlawn, Wilson Yard, Woodlawn. If you have any questions, please reach out to our office and we'll send your address through the city and we'll let you know if you sit in a TIF area or what funding might be available. Applications are open for all 35 Workforce Solutions TIFs that are included in the Workforce Solutions program. Email us at workforcesolutions@eesforjobs.com to find out if you are located in one of these funded areas. Please include your current business address when you email us. So how do you apply? We have created a Workforce Solutions website page where you can go out and actually get started with your application. As you can see right under this explanation about the program, it says submit application. When you submit application, you can go right out to the submittable platform. And on the submittable platform, you can create a login and password. If you have a login and password already for submittable, you can utilize that to get at the application. I do want to say that when you are applying for this training grant, you should be using a third-party trainer. You need to work closely with that trainer before you submit your application so that way you can get quotes for you know, how many days the training is going to be, how much is the training going to cost you, and some information with curriculum that's going to be utilized for the training. So we want you to identify your trainers, work with them to get those documentations together. So when you submit the application, you have that already. If you have questions about that, you can reach out to us. While you're doing the application, you're going to apply through Submittable. As you can see here on the slide, it says, you know, do you have an account already, or are you creating a new account? If you don't have a password and log in for Submittable, once you click here, you can create a new one just for your agency, and then you can submit, go in and read the questions of the application, start formulating your answers, but most importantly, making sure that you're working with your trainer to get that information as needed from the trainer as well. The initial application process to determine your pre-eligibility takes about 1 to 2 weeks upon completion of your application. So here's a quick kind of application process step. This timeline is tentative to change. Bond-funded applications timeline varies, just like I announced earlier. Those application, the funds are being exhausted, and by August 14th, it's possible we will no longer be taking application for this year, but feel free to apply again early next year. So let's walk through the application process. You will get eligibility notification saying that you were eligible for the program in 1 to 2 weeks. Then you submit your required documents. We try to give you about 7 days, a week to do that. Documentation is then approved and a receipt agreement is provided, and then the contract is executed and processed within 3 weeks. Keep in mind, it is important that this timeline works only when you are submitting your required documentation in a timely manner. So after you submit the application, your application is notified that they're eligible for the program, and then they're asked to complete a training needs assessment. Then the applicant proceeds with submitting the other required documentation. Once documentation are reviewed and approved, E&ES will send you a receipt agreement to review and sign. Then the applicant submits the executed signed agreement. And then the applicant is notified that the contract has been executed and proceeds with the business conditional award letter. I do want to say real briefly, I have asked you all, please be conscious not to put things in the chat right now or the Q&A or raise your hand. We will give you time to ask all of your questions after the presentation has ended. Thank you so much. We can go to the next slide. Applicant's approval. One of the steps that's very time sensitive is once you pass eligibility, you're going to get sent these documents under the scofflaw and indebtedness check. We need to have those back as soon as possible. This makes sure that the agency's primary people are in compliance with the child support laws, and that we verify that the employer or non-for-profit has no debts owed to the city, and they have to complete what's called an economic disclosure statement. The other required documents that need to be sent in is training needs assessment, proof of revenue, certificate of insurance. Your certificate of insurance must meet the city requirements. Program policy and procedures, economic disclosure statement, principal profile form, child support affidavit, copy of business license, monitoring protocol requirement, arch banking information, training curriculum and schedule, training resume and references, training cost estimate and quote. And I want to go back to my earlier note just to remind you, these are the things that you need to work with your third-party trainer to complete. They have to put together curriculum. We need to have a cost estimate and quote from them. You need all of those 3 things when you're filling out the application. And you also, for any new hire jobs that you're going to fill, we must have a job description. Reimbursement for your eligible costs. Vouchers and documentation can be submitted for reimbursement after training sessions are completed. You've got a trainer, you complete the training, then you can voucher. You can also, any training providers are paid. You paid your trainer and now you can voucher. Or any wages are paid for new hire on the job hires. Then you can voucher once you've paid out, and then you get reimbursed. The frequency you can do this is for incumbent worker training, you can complete up to 3 vouchers that may be submitted during the contract term. For on-the-job training monthly for a maximum of 13 weeks, so for 3 months, you can submit invoicing for on-the-job training. And retention and closeout. Reimbursement for eligible costs. I'm trying to go through these. These are kind of the steps that you would go through. Documents submit for reimbursement. They're the vouchering forms, the invoices, receipts that you paid for training or for the trainer, proof of payment, sign-in sheets for training, on the job, for OJT only, proof of wages in the form of pay stubs. That's what needs to be submitted. Then we're going to review and approve all the submitted documentation by E&ES and DPD. Then reimbursement can take 6 to 8 weeks to go through the city, depending on the voucher and documents and how accurate they are, and they don't have to go back and forth. Visits and monitoring. You're agreeing upon monitoring and compliance check-ins, submission of required attendance and wage reports, scheduled site visits to observe training, business stays in the community for at least 3 years after having been granted or funded, agreed upon annual follow-up discussions for 3 years to discuss business needs post-training. Follow-ups can include phone calls and or emails. Closeout steps. Closeout reports and final voucher documentation must be submitted when all training has been completed. Training business goals will be noted at the start of the contract period. The closeout report provides a summary of what the trainings accomplished, their impact, the return on investment, and any challenges faced throughout the process. Pending funding grant agreement, applicant may be eligible for an additional 2% administrative compensation upon completion of all closeout reports. This is a copy of frequently asked questions. You all will get an email at the end of this presentation, and we will send you the frequently asked questions just for a reference and resource. Next steps, all application for all 35 workforce solutions are being accepted now. We do have 7 expiring TIFs. These TIFs close December 2025. So if you are interested because you're in one of these TIFs, 105th and Vincennes, 53rd, 79th and Southwest Highway, Humble Park or Humble TIF, Michigan, Cermak, River West, or Wilson Yard. If you sit in any of those 7 locations, you want to reach out to us as soon as possible. Your training is going to be limited based on the time that we have left in the year, but you still can qualify for training, both on-the-job training and incumbent training. So reach out to us ASAP. I also want to note again that we are anticipating closing the applications for anyone who sits outside of TIF that would be funded by the bond money. Bond funding is looking at probably closing August 14th, 2025, but don't let that be a discouragement because you can come back in 2026 and apply for those funds. Additional resources, these are all grants that you can apply for that are through DPD. So you can apply for these while you're also applying for the Workforce Solutions grant. So if these are vital to you all, you will be able to get all of this information when we send you the slide presentation. So take advantage of these if these are grants that will work for you as well. And I want to thank you all for your attention today. We are going to be opening this up for questions and answers. My name is Audrey Johnson. I'm the program director with Workforce Solutions. Here's my number, my email, and the Workforce Solutions website page. Feel free to get in contact with us. We also have Lahia Everez information. She's the coordinator of Economic Development with the City of Chicago through DPD. Her email and information is listed here. If you have questions, please contact us. Thank you all for your patience and listening. So now we want to take the time to open this up to hear from you. You can raise your hand and we can acknowledge you, and you can ask your question verbally. You can type your question into the Q&A, question and answer, and get a response. And they'll probably respond to you give you an answer there, or you can put something in the chat and then we can actually read your question out loud so everybody can hear it. So if anybody wants to raise their hand at this time, I do feel like we had a raised hand with Cecile, was it? Okay, yeah, one attendee. Miss Shireen Payton. Shireen Payton, you can ask your question.
Yes. Hi.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I saw on there you said something about Austin Industrial. Does that mean Austin Community Residential is not considered part of the TIF program?
I'm glad you asked that question because I think sometimes people think that it means the whole community in Austin, and that is the name of a TIF. So that TIF area has been defined. And so if you think that you sit in that area, you just send us your address. We will send it through a clearinghouse with the city of Chicago, and then they let us know exactly where you sit, if you sit in the TIF or outside TIF. So just because it says Austin, it doesn't mean the whole Austin community.
Okay, so email an address to you?
Yep.
Okay.
Email an address to me. Every week I send addresses to the city to be verified. Cecile Harrison.
Hi, it's Cecilia. Good
Hi.
afternoon. Can you explain what a bond is
So
and how it
bond,
works with this application?
yeah, so bond funding has been created for any business or non-for-profit that falls outside the funded TIFs. So it was additional funding, although it was limited funding, it's additional funding to try to make sure that businesses that don't sit in TIFs still had an opportunity to apply for the grant. Since we've been open, we've had multiple businesses and non-for-profits who have fell outside of the TIF areas, and they are starting to exhaust the bond money. But every year we will have bond money available, and then the city is looking for other opportunities for those people who sit outside of TIFs. But yeah, bond money came out of housing, and it's been available this year for, like I said, people who sit outside the TIF area. If you have any question about where you sit, if you're in a TIF or outside a TIF and where you would qualify, just send me an email with your mailing address and I'll get back to you and let you know where you fall. Okay, anybody else raise their hand? I don't see anybody else. You don't have to come off mute if you don't want to. You can put it in the Q&A. We have the City of Chicago staff as well as our own who are answering those questions as well. Okay, Brandy. Okay. Yes, you have a question?
Yes. So I have put in the chat some of the questions did get answered, but I was thinking about creating I wanted to create a CHW mentorship program. I was asking, does the mentees have to work for you, or is it
So,
a job?
so this training is very specific. It's not for your clients at all. It is specifically for your staff, for the people who are on your payroll, to upscale them or train them so that they can better help you serve people. So if you create a program and you're going to be hiring new staff that's going to be facilitating that program, and you're already funded for their salaries, you see what I'm saying? And you want to upscale their training, that could be okay. If you were going to hire new people anyway this year, then the on the job program might be good for you, but they have to be permanent full-time employees or permanent part-time employees. So it just depends on your program. You can call me offline to have a more deeper conversation about it. But the program, and some people do get this wrong about the program, the funds that we reimburse you for is to upscale and get a higher level of training for your current employees, or you can get refunded for salaries for new hires who are coming on board that you were going to hire anyway, regardless if you wrote for this grant.
Okay, I understand. And then you said that if we needed to talk to you, we can just call. Do you know
Yep.
your business hours, just so I can know for future references?
Yeah, 9 to 5. You can call anytime between 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Thank you.
Ramel Terry, you have a question?
Yes, I think you sort of answered it, but I want clarification around,
Sure.
are you able to use this opportunity for workforce development?
What do you mean? Because are you talking about your current staff?
So if we bring in people to train them to get them certified in solar panel, or train them to work in e-bike technologies, things of that nature, is that type of training covered?
Well, if you're talking about your clients, no. If you're talking about, we serve these clients and we want to get them trained, no. This is only training for your current staff, people who work for you, people who are on your staff, and you're like, okay, I have somebody who's a supervisor, but I think they need some management training. So I'm going to get them in a higher level management training so I can prepare to promote them into management. Or I have some people here who work for us, and I want to get them their food and hand sanitizer license because we know we're getting ready to start serving food to after school kids as a part of our program. So it is not for your clients. It is for your current staff. Now, when it comes to new hires, if you were already getting ready to hire this year, you were going to bring people on staff, and you're adding to your staff, full-time permanent or part-time permanent, you can get the reimbursement of those salaries for your new hires. Not that we're paying them to be on your staff. You have to pay for them, and we will reimburse you so that those funds come back to support the business. But that was money you were going to expend anyway because you were already going to hire.
Thank you.
Sure. James Martin, is your hand up?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so do you need a third party trainer
Yes.
when you're a small
Yeah, the
operations
city.
and I'm the chef owner? Yeah, I train my own staff. Like my dishwasher has moved up to like leadership. They're taking the management courses like food handlers and allergens and things like that. So trying to figure out. I got two people that moved up from dishwasher to lead positions in the kitchen, and I got new dishwasher starting, but I can't allocate that myself as a owner manager because I'm training them.
No, so the way the city sees it is that, like any business owner can, when you have those skills to train your own people in-house, you are welcome to do that, and you would do that anyway. But in this case, where we're paying for a trainer to come in and upscale your staff, they prefer it to be an intern, I'm sorry, they preferred it to be an external trainer that comes in, provides those certifications or those licenses or those skills. It could even be professional development, for your.
But a lot of that doesn't really work for small restaurants, though, because we barely can afford the staff we have, because we pay them so well and stuff like that. So it's kind of very difficult to bring in somebody else to train the staff when you can train them, or like when they're doing food handlers, they do that stuff on the clock or off the clock at the restaurant training that they wouldn't do otherwise because unless they need it or not. But it's really difficult to like bring another third party person in to train.
And I understand that we do have a
Yeah,
lot of restaurants who have applied and been approved for this grant who are finding those third-party trainers. The one thing that I have said to people is that, okay, you as a business owner, if you have that license where you can help other licensed people get licensed or do the training that other restaurants would need, this is a good way for you all to partner with one another, because there's probably other businesses out there that you can be their trainer and they could be your trainer. You know what I'm saying? Because you all have the
okay.
skills, because this grant doesn't allow you to train within your own people. I mean, you could apply for it and the
Even
city would
even
would look
even for
at
like
that, but
dishwashers, even for like a dishwasher that you're bringing on that's new, or cooks that are bringing on new, that you have to have a third party person.
no, for new hires, that's different, because we're talking about upscaling. When you're talking about upscaling training, we talking about your incumbent current workers that are on your payroll and that you're trying to raise their skill level. That's totally different from on the job training. On the job training, you're hiring them, you're paying for their salary, and at the end of the month, you can actually submit, if you're approved, you can submit their pay stubs that you paid, and the city through this grant is reimbursing you for those salaries. That is
Yeah,
a
pretty
way the
much. So
grant is being supportive to businesses.
yeah, so I restarted my business. I moved my business from Lincoln Park to West Town, River West. Like, so I'm hoping that I'm even under the TIF location. Um,
Yeah,
but
just send me an email with your address on it, and I'll know in 2 or 3 days what TIF you actually sit in. And then
yeah,
if you have anything specific, Mr. Martin, that you want to talk to, just call me offline. So,
okay,
because it seems like that's a longer conversation, just one-on-one. But, yeah, just feel free to call me, and we'll try to get you the answers.
all right, thank you.
Sure, no problem. Gregory Van Hype. I hope I
Yes,
said that.
yeah,
Hi,
thank you.
Gregory. How can I help you?
Yes, hi. I have a couple of questions. One of them is if we're part of a consortium that is doing professional development to other organizations that are also providing services in the city in multiple locations, like could this be used for training for multiple organizations, or is it only like external trainers coming into only your organization who applies?
So that's kind of a multi-layered question that's inside of the question. But I think what I want to say to you is that, first of all, keep it in mind that this grant is specific to areas, right? So they're wanting to build up certain areas. That's why these funds are being distributed in these particular TIF areas to get across the city. So even though you all might be like the head of a group of different businesses or organizations, the ideal is that each one of those organizations who might sit within the TIF should be applying individually for where they're located at, because they want you to stay in the area for 3 years. So like if one business had two offices, one say in Inglewood and one in Wilson Yard, they would apply for both of those communities individually per that office, because the training that one office needs or is requiring may be completely different than the training for another office. So they wanted to be specific to the business or the organization. So they should apply in their area for themselves, and then they should identify a qualified trainer that they can work with that will provide the type of trainings that they need as an organization or business. Did I answer your question?
Yes, I see. So even at the same business that has multiple locations would need to
Yes.
put in 2 applications for
Yes.
each
Yes.
business location.
Yes. So even if they set in a TIF in one location and they set outside of a TIF in another location, they still could apply for both of those. And if bond money is available, they could apply for that under the bond, or they could apply in the TIF.
I see. But okay, so if you're
So
serving multiple locations, because like sometimes the trainings that we offer like bring multiple people together, like from other areas for the training to to make it more efficient. Or sometimes components of the training are online to make it more accessible for people. Like, how would that work?
So we do online training, but again, this grant is looking at building up those particular areas that are doing the training. So I get what you're saying, like it's more efficient if I have 100 people around the city, bring all 100 people together to do a training. But that's not this program. This program is about trying to find those people who have specific needs in their business, in their non-for-profit, and they want to upscale and strengthen those staff members who are on staff in that area, or to bring on, like you were going to hire people anyway for the year, and now you want to include those new hires as a part of the grant, because that money is very valuable coming back to the business and helping ground the business as they continue to grow. So it's not often you have grants where they're paying you for staff that you've paid for already. But in this case, that money is being returned to strengthen the foundation of businesses and nonprofits throughout the city. So they're very specific about area, and support.
I see. Thank you. And just one last quick question. If they do, I know you would have to stay in that community, in that TIF for 3 years. What would
Yes.
happen if you did have to change offices or move location within that period that was unforeseen? What would happen in that case?
I mean, I'm gonna defer that question to Lahia. If you're not busy, if you can come off, answer that question. I'm really not sure what would be the
Sure.
result.
I'm sorry, I was mid-answering a question on Q&A. Would you mind repeating it, please?
Yeah, he wants to know that if a business got funded and then unbeknownst to them, they were forced into a position where they needed to move office or move outside of the TIF, what would be the result of that? Like, what would the city's expectation be if they needed to move before the 3-year
Great.
grace period?
Thank you so much for repeating that. So we really just expect the business to be in communication with us. Usually businesses do have lease on the locations. So unless something happens that the lease needs to be broken, it will be a case-by-case basis. But especially if you're TIF funded, we do expect the business to stay within that area for 3 years. But again, if something were to happen, communication is key. So just keeping us looped in as to what's going on in regards to any type of change is the best route to take.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Brandy Gowder.
Yes. I wanted to ask one more question. Right now, does your do you have to have a business office that's in that TIF area, or can you buy a building in that area, and then yeah, that's what I'm saying. Does it already have to be there? And do you all help with rental also?
No, we do not help with rental. It's just training.
Okay.
Training specifically for your current staff, or training. On the job training means the new hires that you're bringing into your company, and we only provide salaries, reimbursement for those salaries over 3 months. But as far as like when at the time that you're applying, I think that you should, if you're anticipating, oh, I think I'm gonna get a building or rent a space in this location,
Yeah.
I think you should do that prior to your application, right?
Okay.
Because you could be moving into that area, new or opening up something new. Yes, because we do work with startups. So yes, but I mean, it would be nice. We can't even designate an area if you don't have an address. So
Okay.
I would say, if you're already in that area, once you got your lease agreement or whatever, then that would be a good time for you to apply. But it's not like you have to have been there 5 years or 10 years for you to
Okay.
apply.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And Cecilia, did you still have a question?
Yeah, I had two questions actually. So how does this relate to remote businesses that are located in TIF district, but the property may be under renovation?
The property is under renovation. I'm gonna hear that one to Lahia as well. Lahia,
Thank
this is
you.
a question I've had a few times too about can you just address remote businesses in general? And then her specific question is a remote business that is waiting for a brick and mortar. Is that correct,
Well,
Cecilia?
no, it's already located in a TIF district. It's under renovation, but the business is remote currently while that building is under renovation. So I guess my question would be more so related to how does the remote, state of the business affect this application process? If that,
Thank you for asking that question. We have not had that instance before, so happy to discuss offline after we review our bylaws and ordinance to see if that's something we can cover.
and then the second part of that question was, I don't see 107th at Halsted on this list, but I do see that there may be other fundings available. So the TIF, are you all still like, is it the designation that's maybe different, or is this everything that's open? Because 107th in Halsted seems to be currently open.
So 107th, if it's not on this list currently, it's not open. But if it is a TIF, what we do encourage you, if you have a business at that location, is to apply. What we are currently doing is building our wait list. So with the goal of asking for additional funding early next year. So the more applicants essentially we have on the wait list, the better the opportunity that we are able to secure more funding for that area. If it's not on this list, however, we currently do not have funding. So we just ask for patience and hopefully a little bit of flexibility until we can try to go through the legislative process to secure funding.
Okay, so just so I understand, even if it's a TIF district, if it's not located on this list, you don't have funding for it.
If it's a TIF district that is not on this list, you are correct. We currently do not have funding.
Okay, and then Roseland, Michigan, because that's still considered Roseland. The TIF district that I'm speaking of is in Roseland, but Roseland, Michigan, that is just the Michigan corridor?
We have a map that we'll be happy to send you the boundaries of
Okay.
that TIF. Yeah, we can
Okay,
definitely,
thank
if you
you.
don't mind putting your email or
Okay,
contacting Audrey and myself, we can send you the boundary.
okay, thank
Yeah, and just send me an email with the address that you're trying to check. That way we can just have it checked and then you can know right away.
okay.
We have about 5 more minutes. I see Jasmine Moore. Can you come off mute and ask your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So I was wondering because like the business locations that's on the the screen right now, are them the locations that we email you? I mean, we contact you about like for the free job training that we would like to do.
So I don't understand free job training. I mean, that's something that E&ES does. But this is particular. Do you own a business, Jasmine? Miss Moore?
Yes, I can hear you now. It went out.
That's okay, no problem. Do you own a business?
No, I don't own a business, but I thought like the WIAO program was to help with like free training for like different careers that we might wanted to do.
That's true. WIOA is, but this program is completely not WIOA at all. But
Okay.
E&ES does have the WIOA program. So what I suggest you do is
So
give
do
me
I post like is there
you
okay, you
can
said give you a call.
you can still email me or call me. I will
Okay.
put you in touch with a career coach or somebody who will send you through that program so that you can take advantage of it. But this is just for employers. What we're talking about today,
Okay.
the workforce solutions is just for employers who are looking for training for their staff. But because E&ES does do the training you're looking for, just send me an email and I'll get you in the right place.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, I don't have any more hands raised on my end. If you all are still on the call, and you should be getting your questions and answered through the chat or either through Q&A.
Yes, Audrey, it looks like we've addressed all the Q&A and chat questions.
Okay, and I have no more hands raised, so just since we still have 40 attendees on, if you all have any last minute questions, ask them now. We have about 2 more minutes. If not, then we can. Okay, Kevin Herman, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, we invested in new equipment and training that's going on right now still. If we're too late to apply here in 2025, can we still apply for the next round?
Of course, yes.
Okay. All right. So it doesn't,
Yeah,
it can
we
be
encourage
in
you
the
to do
past.
that too. I mean, if you send me an email with your address and everything, you can still check and see if you're in a TIF so you can identify the TIF you would be applying for. But also, if there is other training that you haven't done that and there's money available in your TIF, you still can apply for it. So
Okay.
I would still send me an email, let me check your location, and then if there's money in the TIF, if there's other training you can benefit from, like we won't pay for training you've already done. You only get approved for training once your application is approved. But if there's still stuff out there that you can do training between now and December, yeah, you want to apply for it.
Okay. So it is too late for everything we've done in July then.
Yeah, we don't reimburse for training that is completed before you're approved as a program.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, I think that's our last question. All right, thank you guys so much for your patience and times. I hope you got all of your questions answered and you all have a better understanding of the grant. Again, Anissa, can you just finish out with the last contact slide so that if they do need to copy down our email or the Workforce Solutions grant website page, you can do that. As you all exit, feel free to get in contact with us and ask questions. We're here to support you. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you, Gregory. Thank you guys for attending. I ain't had time to do nothing. What do you mean?